and word. All right.
And we are live.
Absolutely. Well, we hope that we're live because this is a whole new engineering masterpiece that we have created. And
We're sharing it with you guys first.
Yes.
Including our new background.
So I'm a little nervous to make sure that it's all up and running, but we're just going to run with it. And I'm going to record it just in case the live stream fails. How about that?
That's a great idea.
Yeah. No, because we really wanted to get cracking right away this morning.
Yeah. To give you a little bit of a glimpse of, the things that we're working on. And, it really is, the bottom line is nobody at your level got here by accident. You built something. Okay. You made the hard calls. You earned your seat in a room that few people ever enter. From the outside, it works. Track record is real and life is enviable.
Yeah, because, there is one truth that you have learned to manage and instead of face is that you did not fail. You settled intelligently, strategically, and a little more each year.
Yes, you optimized for what made sense. You chose what was defensible. You took the path that kept compounding for you. And you put off the one thing that just doesn't wait.
And that is your real work, your magnum opus that you were here to ship.
Yeah. And here's what nobody said out loud. The cost of putting this off isn't money, and it's not status. It's erosion. Every year that you don't step into it, it erodes. The edge dulls. The conviction, it softens. And what once felt inevitable starts to feel optional. And then worse, it starts to feel unlikely.
Yeah, because I know because I used to be that guy, right? I have really been that man, winning for decades, respected, proven, in control, yet still not building the one thing that I was built, that I was brought here to build. Because where there is no vision, the man survives, but his dreams perish, still locked inside of him.
So it's time to unlock it. It's time to build your magnum opus. It is time.
So that is why we decided today that we are going to show you our magnum opus, because this is something that we are building in public. We have done a strategic pivot in our own lives and in our own businesses. And, we felt this calling for a very long time because, after both of us a big career in hedge funds in the, what you call a Wall Street space, we have been advising, coaching, training entrepreneurs, founders, business owners, hedge fund guys, traders for the longest time to focus on capital attraction, right?
Right. And in order to, build their business, always with the, thought process that life and business on your terms is real, but you actually need to attract your right fit clients. So that's where we started.
And I'm not saying that we're not doing that anymore, but it is a small part of what we now do inside the Magnum Vault Pass.
It's basically a puzzle piece to getting to your magnum opus. And the Magnum Vault Pass really encompasses the whole, everything that you need to work towards your magnum opus. And if you see in the background here, you can get a little glimpse of what that looks like.
This is actually really cool. I mean, nobody other than Laura Louise has actually seen this yet. So this literally went live at about 1 o'clock in the morning last night. And the last edit was, I think, about 45 seconds before we went live today. So we're a little nervous. But
these are the frameworks that actually get our clients and ourselves to the magnum opus, to that great and highest achievement in your personal and professional life, that synergy, what I call magnum alchemy, and this is what makes all the difference. And, for years, we have worked with our clients one-on-one in getting them this exact outcome and teaching them these frameworks. And, the game has changed now. So you want to start talking a little bit about the MVP, which is the Magnum Vault Pass. We also say it's our Magnum Vault partners.
And it's our MVP for our MVPs. And
Right.
this is a live update on actually one of the platforms, one of the tools that we've built for our clients that's live here in the MVP. It is a live studio transmission that allows you with a click of the button to go instantly live. So I'm dying to go see whether this is going out on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, and even we built our own live players. Really just as an update to our friends, our audience, our clients. A lot of people say, hey, we haven't seen you for ages. So this is what we have been building, assembling, putting together, where we have taken all of the best concepts from our masterminds, our programs, our teachings, our live events, our one-on-one consulting calls, and have essentially fed it all into this giant vault behind you, because we realized the one thing, and I think maybe Laura Louise, you can help me walk through this a little bit, because it's not knowledge that people need. Okay, there is plenty of self-help out there, or shelf-help. Let's call it shelf-help.
I think
right?
it's a connection to really what's lived inside of you, that part of you that you want to bring forward, that thing that has been, on your heart, on your head. We call it like the mind, the heart, the head, and the habits. And without one of those things, it's very hard to make it happen. And so often your head is off saying, you know what, this is working, I'm going to keep pressing this. And, a couple of years go by where you think you're going to stop and do that thing that's in your heart, do that thing that's, that you're meant to do that thing. And guess what? Your habits aren't supporting it. Your head isn't there. And not years, but sometimes decades go by and we don't do that thing that we know that we want to do. And too often, and I think the inspiration for a lot of what we did, too often I see people at the end of their life said, I always really wanted to do this and I wish that I did. There's a saying, better to have remorse than regret, right? Because when you look back at your life, you don't regret the things you did. You regret the things that you didn't do. And so, building your magnum opus is for us that life and business on your terms, getting the things the way you want them, the way you envisage them, not the way we want them, but using our frameworks to get there. So,
yeah, because the best way that we can explain this and why we made this pivot, because your magnum opus, which is this big unfinished work that sits on your heart, right, is a little bit like my post this morning on LinkedIn. Having a supercar in the garage that is not being driven is less of a crime than having a magnum opus that sits inside you that it hasn't been shipped and filled. And if we look at all of the tools, all of the strategies, all of the success criteria that we have encountered with a variety of clients from all over the world, it really comes down to these aspects, these four overlapping, let's call them ikigai circles behind us, right?
And this is, when we created the Magnum Vault, it was always about this. For us personally, it's always about this, because if you don't have the mindset, it's really hard to build, the business of your dreams and create the magnum wealth that you want. If you don't have the health, it's hard to have the mindset. That's, and if you don't have the environment around you, the people you can pitch and catch with on a regular basis that have the creativity, that light you up, that have the ideas that you can keep, growing, progressing, evolving. And so often we get to a point in our career where we're in a vacuum. We might have a team of people that work for us, but they're not accretive to your creative process, but they're doing a great job, but they're not helping you to get to the next level. That only you know what it is. Only you know what's inside of you. Only you know what you're capable of. And so often, like we said in the beginning, you start to suppress that and just erosion happens to the point where you don't think it's possible anymore. And certainly you begin to believe it's unlikely that it'll ever happen. And part of us dies in that process. We start to just feel like, it's not going to happen this time around the sun. And that's the thing that breaks my heart, because I want to see people who get to that point where they're lit up, they're excited. I mean, 100 years ago, if you were sitting at 50 or 55 years old, you were like, okay, I've got 5 years till retirement, maybe 7 years till retirement. And, you were on the decline, right? And maybe the average lifespan back then was, 70, maybe it was 75. I mean, the bottom line is if you're on planet Earth right now and you last the next 5 years, chances are you're going to last 20 years.
Yep.
Because we are growing so fast in medical technology. And so you're thinking, oh, I only have a couple of years. Chances are you have 20 or 30 more years. And if you think that you're stagnating right now, or you feel that place where you're not in total fulfillment of what you're doing and creating what you're meant to, because that's your purpose and that's your zone of genius, well, just picture yourself a decade later, still dragging the albatross of what you're doing right now versus 20 years later, where you're actually, your spirit is dying, even though you're still living. That's what we want to avoid. We want you to be able to step into that.
Well, also, we've coached so many people, and we know an incredibly abundant collection of extremely wealthy and successful people, right? And they have focused so much of their life on the collection of wealth and the creation of wealth. That they have sacrificed their health, present company included, right? That seems to be the
probably
thing
the most common thing
I
right
keep
there.
robbing from.
Absolutely.
But the overlap between those is very much what we call in our shop the Magnum mindset, right? So this is the mindset training, because it's well known that your attitude determines your altitude. Sure, that sounds great on a self-help book, on a sticker, but how do you actually implement that? Because health without wealth and wealth without health makes absolutely no sense. And the absolute common ingredient between all of that is a Magnum mindset, a big mindset that keeps growing, that is focused on progress, not perfection, that is focused on growth, contribution, and constantly improving that, right? But under it all is a term that Laura Louise mentioned, and that is called the Magnum Nation. Care to explain that one?
Well, it's really just being in that environment with people that you can grow with, that you can progress, that you can evolve, people that are allowing your creative, self to thrive, as opposed to, having to suppress your creative self. I can't tell you how often I'm in a room where people are just talking about their ailments or golf. And as much as golf is great, I think that if you're 55 years old and that's all you've got for the next 30 years, you might get a little stale, right? I think that there's things that people are afraid to say out loud there because it's not receptive. The environment isn't receptive to your ideas, to your creativity, to your growth, to your expansion. And getting in rooms where people are like not only excited for you, but they're creative to that process to add to your thoughts, your thought process that you can literally pitch and catch with and grow as in the process. So, Magnum Nation to me was not only just about, your clients that you attract, but the partners that you deal with, your friends, and putting yourself in those environments in a place where it's a springboard for the rest of your life. Not just a place where you relive or reminisce about things you all did in the past.
See, for me, it was really about these things that are up here, because so very few people define these, and we trip into our careers, our businesses by accident, right? And if you go out right from the outset to design life and business on your terms, well, I think you should know what it means, right? And for most people we work with, it's about time and money freedom. But very importantly, also people freedom, because you have to be very, very careful who you let speak into your microphone, right? And more and more so, certainly ever since the whole COVID pandemic, it's about location freedom, right? So that you can do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, from wherever you want,
I think
right?
for us, that has always been big because we've always lived all over the planet and wanted to be able to work from wherever we were. So that was, kind of front and center for us for a very long time. From Magnum Mindset has always been front and center to me. When we created the Magnum Vault, it was just like off the top of my head, Magnum Vault, Magnum Wealth, Magnum Health, Magnum Mindset, Magnum Nation. And when you have that, that's, really gives you all the tools you need to achieve your magnum opus, whatever that is. And the beauty is that it's yours. It's authentic. It's unique. Nobody ever can be you. There's no AI that'll ever be able to replace you. You are, absolutely genuine, authentic, and unique. And I think,
Well, as Yoda said, there is no try, there is only do. You cannot try to be authentic. You either are or you're not, right? And obviously, with the evolution of AI, which we have fully embraced, you can extrapolate, you can expand, you can leverage yourself, you can multiply yourself, you can be everywhere all at once. But what you cannot replace is that deep, authentic voice inside you, right? And that is why we built this. That is why we took everything from all of our masterminds, our courses, our programs, our trainings, everything we've ever done, and we literally deployed it to the vault. Because what we are building is essentially an operating system for...
yeah, I mean, think about what elite entrepreneurial programs promise, right? Teaching, motivation,
I wanted you to finish
breakthrough.
I wanted you to finish my sentence.
Oh.
What we are doing is building an operating system for your...
Magnum opus.
Thank you. You coined that term.
I did. Planning your magnum opus is something that has been really important. And before we did all of this, we created 153 protocols, and I said, I need a magnum opus planning system because I knew that the to-do list that we all get stuck in isn't serving my highest purpose.
Yeah, so I think we should show people a little bit of that. I mean, I'm going to record a full demo of this shortly, but let's give people a very quick introduction as to kind of what's in it and what's behind it.
Yeah, and you know, just everything that is in it now is based on literally the work that we have done for 35 years of training in all of these categories and bringing it to our one-on-one clients and bringing it to our programming. But now what we've done and what we found is that when people are in the environment working with us, it was great. But a lot of the processes and stuff were onerous, and they felt like they didn't have time, or they were doing them in isolation, and it wasn't, you know, they felt like they were in a vacuum. They had a question they needed answers to.
It's a good point, because they did the training, they came to the events, they're like, oh my God, you guys are brilliant. This is just an incredible thing. But then 6 months later, they were still stuck. Because
they fell off the wagon.
Well, they didn't have the tools and they didn't have the environment, and then they had to go and reinvent the whole thing. And I think that was really a big point that Laura Louise just, you know, flew over, is that we just said, let's get people to stop struggling.
Yeah.
We have tools, we have skills, we're building them, we're adding them. We have been to some of the sharpest rooms on the planet. Let us put everything right in here so that you have the tools, you have the environment, you have everything you need in order to ship it. So I'm going to do, shall we do Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Sure.
And we're going to shrink down here.
Yeah.
And you are going to now be the person that is in charge, that decides where I go. And
I think we should
I'm
start
going to
at
operate the mouse.
I think we should start at the beginning, because it all starts with ignis, which means to ignite in Latin.
Yeah.
And this is where you ignite, you know, all of the things that are inside of you, what you're doing with your business, what, you know, the kind of things, the people you want to work with, the things that you bring to the party. What is your trajectory? Where did you come from? What was your journey? What was the epiphany you had? And what's the vision you have for your future? And getting this out. Now, the beauty of this is we used to do this all manually. And that is hard work. It's worthwhile work, but it's hard work. Now we're doing it. We've created it in our proprietary, completely secure AI. It is our IP. It doesn't go up to any cloud, doesn't go anywhere. It is for your eyes only. You create this. And the beauty is you do it in your own voice. And when you're doing an interview and you're typing it, you know, we try to curate ourselves. We try to sound better. We try to be, you know, more appropriate, or more formal, or, you know, more professional. And that is not what this is designed to do. This is designed to extract your authenticity, your uniqueness, your emotion, your lexicon, your vocabulary, the kinds of things that you say all the time, your language, you know, your cliches, everything. It captures everything. And it's a work of genius.
Yeah, so this is our deep identity extraction tool. And that is, this is not some generic LLM, you know, ChatGPT or Claude or, you know, Gemini-based prompt. This is a very deep probing interview that takes all the really good stuff out of you, all the bad stuff that we can use and weaponize, all the lessons, all of these things, and pulls it out of you in one of the most effective ways I have ever seen, right? Anyway, we're going to spend about 30 seconds on each of these.
And you know, I mean, most of our clients, just so you know, they will do this interview and they will be in tears. They will be emotional. They will be reliving things and answering questions. And it runs very deep. It literally goes to your spine about who you are, what drives you, what your focus is, what frustrates you, you know, where your missteps were, where your celebrations were. It is brilliant. And out of it, we create a lot of information for
the
you.
whole thing is to create a very authentic chain that then essentially builds your AI brain, that builds your voice, that builds your clone, that starts delivering content, that really creates your AI identity so that we can scale it, we can enhance it, we can leverage it, we can multiply it, and help you essentially create your stories. Because why do we tell stories? Because they make people feel something so that they will
do something.
It's the number one skill that humans need is stories. So that is show and tell number one.
And just so you know, your content here, this actually gives you an enormous amount of content. LinkedIn posts, signature stories, bios, emails, DMs, you know, funnel copy. What you create out of just this interview is created for you to utilize right away.
And it's all interactive. It's all loaded. Like this is mine, for example, right? If you look at all of my LinkedIn posts, all of Laura Louise's posts, they are all originated right here. We are the number one customer of this, and we built it for that. Okay, so back to the vault.
So that's step one, basically, just to get the party started.
So you'll see now, these are the new dots. You see if it's green, it shows that I've done it. Okay, so now we have these four major icons that I've positioned north, south, east, and west, okay? There are four more here, which I'll go through, but the second major one is the magnanimous protocol. And this really is an important, very, very important aspect, because this is really to extract your entire spirit. And this is very much focused. You just did the latest version of it yesterday. What
so
did
we
you
get
think?
to experiment because Honor, we keep doing new versions, and Honor keeps making them more, you know, interesting, more interactive, deeper, incredible, really, really incredible. Because it starts with like your headset. And, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, sometimes our head is focused in one area, which tends to be a little bit more logical, and our heart is, you know, focused someplace else. And so you have this diversion of, you know, where you're focused, and then your habits aren't supporting either, or maybe they're supporting them in part. And so you're never facing all in the right direction to get that synergy. That
You haven't noticed it. There's now a little video avatar of you introducing everybody and talking to everybody. So that came straight out of Laura Louise's brain. So the philosophy behind this protocol is to really align your head with your heart and your habits. And this is kind of step one of that. So that is the first show and tell.
Without your head, your heart, and your habits in that, what we call like the trifecta, right? To achieve the great work of your life is probably not possible. And that's where people are constantly in conflict with themselves. You know, congruency is like the super speedway, but most people are incongruent. Their, you know, their thoughts and their, you know, their spirit aren't in alignment, and their habits aren't supporting either one properly. So they're frustrated, and you know, often when people are frustrated, either they get inspired and they break through, or they give up. And if you're frustrated for too long, you're suppressing what you really want, and you're just making excuses to continue on the path until you can't take it any longer.
So what we've done in here is really ask the tough questions, but in a way that you really want to answer them, right? So if I demo the next tool real quickly, and that is your authentic character flywheel super tool, which then segues into your right fit client tool. And this is very, very fast. I mean, this is a quick run through this, because what we do is, and Laura Louise can explain it better, just not too long, is to talk about the layers real quickly.
I mean, really, it gets back to the point that, you know, if you're not bringing your authentic self to the party, you are missing 95% of your juice. And so, you know, the authentic character flywheel, I have been doing variations of this my whole life, because I realize how I have a a strategy called threading, how that I can integrate, getting to know people, finding the right fit client, people that are aligned with your thought process, who are aligned with you, what we call, our Magnum Nation, for instance. Those are all come out of our authentic character flywheel, because we know our right fit client is synergistic with who we are. And so often we're serving people that aren't our right fit client. They're not lighting us up, and we feel the drudgery of having to, work with that client, or, make exceptions to what we believe, and make changes to something that we're providing. And that is not the right, concept for achieving, your zone of genius. So this is really, it magnifies who your right fit client is, because it magnifies who you are.
Yeah. And this is a super useful tool, because what we've done is taken all of this experience of working with our clients, where we have pulled out of them the hard way who it is that they really wish to attract. Okay. And you can't do that unless you've done that exercise that Lola Louise was talking about, where you really drill down onto your layers, the things that make you special, your hero's journey, your experiences, the things that sit at the core of you. And then we give you the tool that basically maps them to your right fit client. Okay. And it is such an incredibly valuable tool, because what it does from here, as you see on the tab, can you see the tabs all the way at the top there, Lola Louise?
Yep.
Point them out right there, right up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it goes from my authentic character flywheel to your right fit client fit. Then it maps your ACF to your RFC, and helps you build your through line, so that your right fit client immediately goes, yes, he's talking to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is that tool. We need 20 minutes just to demo this one, because that leads to so many other incredibly useful tools. By the way, all of these now, Lola, as of yesterday, they are all connected into your vault. So one of them can pick from the others, and none of this work is in vain. And it's all feeding one thing, which is essentially your magnum opus construction.
Yeah. So like when you're logged in, it logs in as you.
Yeah.
It knows who you are. It knows about you, and it can serve you at the highest level. Even a little Oro in the corner there is our golden retriever tech bot. And he is trained in
Everything.
over 153 different protocols. So if you had a specific question, if you are logged in as yourself, it will know your identity, and it will be able to answer a question like, you know what, I'm preparing this marketing deck and I'm not sure what's next. Here's what I've got. And it will make sure that he will, instruct you how to make sure that it's written in your language. It will make sure that, it's written in your lexicon and your vocabulary, and it's incorporating all of the tools that you have fed into the MVP, whether it be your Ignis, your magnanimous protocols, your authentic character flywheel. The next one is the Zone of Genius tool, which really hones in. So many times I meet amazing entrepreneurs, and I'll ask, what do you do better than anyone else? And they will hem and haw, and they actually don't know. They know what they do for a living, but they don't know what it is that is their zone of genius. And so, one of the things that we do is we work to uncover it. And I will tell you, there's nothing that excites me more than when I am working with a client and I see their zone of genius, and I'm like, wait, stop. Let's rewind, go back to that. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see it. Your zone of genius is something that probably feels very natural to you because you've been utilizing it your whole life. Maybe not even in this present business, but it's a thread that runs through you. It's this place where you're lit up, where you have insights, creativity, energy, and understanding that other people just don't have. And so the zone of genius is one of my favorite because it allows people, all of these things, by the way, tap into the true self, yourself, not try to change you, try to elevate you, magnify what's great about you, and accelerate your journey to getting to your magnum opus. So then we have.
I was just having fun with Oro in the background.
I
wanted you to read his sense of humor.
Oh,
but you
yeah.
didn't, right?
So what did you ask?
First of all, I said to him, his sense of humor is built in there. I said, I hear poodles are better at attracting clients and investors. And at which point he answers, Anric, slander, pure slander. You see, he knows who I am. He's got access to my vault. He knows what I asked him before. So the sense of humor is in there. Poodles are high maintenance, require constant grooming, and perform tricks for approval. That is literally the BBB epidemic. You see, that is one of our protocols.
Right.
Begging, bullshitting, and badgering people to invest with you, right? In dog form, a poodle would absolutely lead with what before who. The golden retriever shows up the same way every single time. Genuinely thrilled to see you, zero agenda, and somehow everyone in the room trusts it within 30 seconds. That is capital magnetism. That is the whole methodology in fur and enthusiasm. Case closed. Anyway, on a serious...
Oro has a great sense of humor, but he does give you the goods.
On a serious note, this one is actually an important one because this is where everybody goes wrong. I said, how do I explain what I do for a living? Anrik, this is a trap question. What sounds like small talk is actually 8 who and why questions wearing a name tag that says, what do you do, right? At the moment you answer it as a job description, you've already lost the room. So he basically coaches you and trains you into how to actually answer all of these things.
Like if you were running out the door and you had done all of your tools in here and you said, hey, or I'm going to a really important meeting. I have the deck's been built with you guys, but now I need to know like what is my meeting look like? Can you give me like a journey, a PowerPoint on, what to do in this meeting? And he will walk you through it. He'll also write your DMs for you. He'll write your texts for you.
Even your funnel entrances, all that kind of stuff, because
he'll write your LinkedIn posts.
He's got access to your vault up there. He's got access to your answers. He's got access to all of our training materials, thousands of books, all of the courses, all of the programs. Even some of our competitors who do a really good, very focused job, for example, on compliance and things like that. Yeah. We're like, hey, I don't have an interest in that, but let's do the deep research. And we built the tools to help you with that.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of experience in compliance.
Yeah,
so
you do,
for me, I loved having it because I don't need to, we can pick the tools and the best of the best. We picked the highest level of everything to, be able to oversee and edit depending on where you're regulated and what you're regulated by. So our compliance modules come and you can even go straight into compliance to make sure and have your, whatever it is, your report rewritten to make sure that it's compliant with the industry that you serve.
So all of these tools have one purpose, that is feed you the information, extract it out of you, coach you, train you, and help you build your Magnum Opus. So this is the Zone of Genius amplifier that is now also connected to the Vault before we get to the Opus Citadel. And that obviously is an incredibly important aspect of it. I've just completed it and it's been the deepest work I think I have ever done.
It's the name of it. Before we named it, we called it the daddy of all prompts because it really gets to the heart of who you are. It goes very deep in about, what it is that drives you, who's the voice in your head, what are the things that matter to you, what is your foundation, what is the culture that you embrace, what is your thought process, what is your belief system, like so many different things. And they're not generic questions. It will change. If I'm doing it versus Anrik, based on my answer, it'll give me completely different questions. It is completely focused on you, your answers, and understanding you at a deeper level. So even though it says there's 7 questions, the first question might go, 7 layers deep, and often does,
And it was really been some of the most valuable work that we've done with our, multi-million-dollar clients, and now applied in a format where you can just answer it by yourself whenever you're ready. So that's the quick show and tell on that. Let's go back to the Vault. And you see how that all of these feed into one big mission, which is essentially to just, if we're going clockwise around here, to take the next step, go deeper into the Magnum Maven Matrix. I mean, that is one of our most popular tools.
This is just really creating authority. So often people might be good at something, but they haven't created their authority in the marketplace. They haven't shown who they are and why they're different and who they show up as and what they actually do. Remember, your client is focused on what's in it for me. So they don't want to hear everything about how you're so great. They want to know how you're serving your client at the highest level. This is all about this. The Maven Matrix is really about getting your client to see you as the trusted advisor, as the connector, as the person who's going to get the job done, as the person who's going to solve their problem, as the person that's going to give them the missing link of what they need for their business. Whatever it is, you have to establish yourself as the authority in your field so that you are the person that they want to talk to. You're that trusted entity that they want to come to and be served by. This is what Magnum Maven Matrix is all about.
But it also goes to a deeper level in that so many of us, I'm talking about me here at this point, not Laura Louise.
Now I can't wait to hear what you're going to say.
well, we show up in a different way. We see ourselves in a different way than what we actually are. And we're trying to fit in, right? Fitting in is for sardines, right? And we try to fit in and adjust our language to something that isn't natural. And you guys, like, just follow me through this little rabbit hole here, because it's actually really important. So many of us are showing up with a different voice and a different persona than the one that's actually running by default, right?
Yes,
and
100%.
Then you meet some people, and I get goosebumps. Look at that when I'm talking about it, because you meet some people that are just so naturally attractive, even though they are imperfect, right? They just seem to attract everybody because I think the saying is they're comfortable in their skin. This is the path. I had to work really hard at this. I'm still awkward as all hell about some things.
I think we're trained, we're trained in our industry to show up a certain way, to be like everyone else. So we're basically trained to fit in, when as exceptional humans that are completely authentic and unique, we should be trained to stand out, and not in an offensive way, but to just in your authentic way, to show off who you are in your language, in your lexicon, because those people that are attracted to that, they're going to stay with you forever. Because there's nothing curated about it. It's just who you are.
So we take this through from the foundation through to your leadership principles and your signature methodologies, your language, all of these things into your content. Because if your content doesn't stack up with your voice, with your persona, with your character, all of these things, then your content and your media will not stack up with your manifesto. And that part is the important part, right? Because that is your one big statement. Now, here's the beauty of all of this. We take these exercises, we build these exercises, we help you, we coach you, and it's all captured in your vault, so that little oral chatbot, or in the middle of the night, you want to write a speech, or you want to write a webinar script,
keynote, or a letter to your investors, or letter to your clients.
You can drop that in seconds, right? So then from here, I think we need to move on this thing. We then essentially build this through an Ikigai process, right? Into your magnum opus, because this is the overlap. This is the important part.
And you might notice it fits into our Venn diagrams. We've embraced this through everything we do.
We've been running it for so long, right? Because it is this overlap of what you love and what you're good at, right? That's your zone of genius, and what the world actually needs and what you can get paid for. And once you figure this out, you stop struggling and you stop fighting, so on. So this is essentially the bridge that helps you build and ship that. But then here is where it gets exciting. And admittedly, I've been spending too much time in this. This is all great training. This is all great teaching. But how do you ship it? How do you build it? How do you get it done? So
this is my favorite thing. Yeah. This is my little baby right here.
So
the Magnum Opus planning system?
Well, no, I was going to go to all the tools and the programs and the library and the events and all that stuff.
But you should at least go to my
planning
Opus.
She's right. She's absolutely
Magnum
right.
Opus planning system first. He's just teasing me because he knows I can't wait to.
Remember what we said up front. Your head and your heart and your habits need to all be running in the same directions.
And so often we have these silly to-do lists that, is a list that we check off, and somehow we feel like we've accomplished something. Then we put our head down on the pillow at night and we go, I was very busy doing a lot of crap, but I didn't really do anything that was important to me today.
So we just really built the machine where you now take all of this great work that you've done, and now we ship it into your calendar, because we've worked with a lot of coaches that will literally say, show me your calendar. I don't work with people who are not running your calendar. And we've given the world this loud voice to come and speak into our microphone. We're scrolling ourselves to death, and we've made it super easy for everybody else's crap to get onto your calendar, except your important work your magnum opus.
Yeah, and I think that honestly, I think this is a work of art because it took everything that is valuable to us, including our brain dump, the stuff that's just sitting there that's driving you crazy that you need to get out on paper, including your big, big goals so that you're working on them every day. A strategy to work on those goals every day by a small amount, just 1%, each day. The rabbit hole, what is your distractions? What is the stuff that is, important or urgent but not important? Who do you need to reach out to? What do you need to do for your health to actually get the most out of yourself? This, vessel that we encompass, if it doesn't work, guess what? The work doesn't happen either. Nothing works if you're not humming on all cylinders. And that's your mindset, that's your health, and that's, those big bodacious goals, which by the way, are huge drivers. They are like fuel. When you're working on the things that matter to you, that's like, pumping adrenaline into the mains. That is, the piece de resistance, because you're making progress. And when you go to sleep at night and listen, I moved 1% of each of those goals today, a little bit, I touched point with them, then you can put your head down and go, I'm on my way. I feel like I'm starting to make progress. I'm evolving. And by the way, once you do that for like 5 days, you're like, wow, that's 5 more days than I've worked on those things in the last, 5 years. And then once you get to a month, you're just like a different person. By the time you get to 6 months, you are hundreds of percentage points ahead with compounding than you would have been. And in many, many instances, certainly for me and for our clients, you have actually achieved the thing, whether it's writing a book or launching a new division or launching a new company or, just pivoting your business and your strategy, your strategic approach, incorporating things that you've dreamed about doing for years and bringing them to life. All of these things matter. These are the things that light you up. But if you don't have the whole thing, the mind, the body, the spirit, if you are not actually, focused on the trifecta of making sure that everything is working together, well, you're going to run out of steam. And that is, the dangerous part, that people do things that really, make them feel like they achieved something in the day, but it's not lighting them up. It's not building their internal, fortitude and their evolutionary process and that progress that we all need as humans,
Yeah. So, I know we're running out of time, and we've literally shown you, what is that, 8 different things, and there are over 100 in here. Because from here, we have also loaded every program, every course. Some of these courses were $18,000, right? Some of them were 8,000, some of them were 5,000. Every program that we've ever done is in here for training, because if you want to go deeper, want to learn something, want to really ship something, we'll point you to the right program, the right course, the right recording that's in it. So you can literally click on programs. It will take you straight to the programs. Reap rewards. This is a spectacular program.
These are full day labs, and you can actually look at what area you want to focus on and just look and do those courses so that, and we'll walk you through it, because people do get, a little overwhelmed or something. It's always there for you. Everything's there for you. You can just go in and go, you know what, I want to work on my S-cube formula. That's strategy, story, systems. Or I want to work on my authentic character flywheel. You can go straight to authentic character flywheel, where we are teaching it. And
the number one download so far has been the Signature Story Trinity training, where we teach entrepreneurs, business owners, founders to really build their origin story and then via an epiphany bridge into their vision story. That has been the number one download that we've seen so far.
Because it's so important for people to actually attract their right fit client. But these things are available for you, as are,
well, the tools. Wait till you see the tools, because as entrepreneurs, we have so many really important things and to ship, but only limited amount of time. So any tool that we use, we added it to the vault. All of our story selling toolkits, our webinar toolkits. This is the full-on Russell Brunson perfect webinar. It will take your stuff and extract it and build you the webinar. LinkedIn post formatter, etiquette protocols, the story selling guys. You're getting ready for a podcast? Hit the podcast prep tool. You haven't even seen this one. You basically, it reads your Ignis files, it reads your vault on who you are and your voice, and then you can help it prepare for a specific
show. You can tell them what the topic is, what it is you want to talk about. It'll extract in your own voice all of your data, all of your information. And, you know, as human beings, like to sit down and gather all of the thoughts of, you know, what I did and what I want to bring and how, you know, this story would help that, whatever. As long as you put it into your interviews, it's completely accessible to create. The etiquette protocol, I love too.
The story polisher is, I think, like this is genius. I mean, it literally will take whatever you've written, whatever draft you've written, and go through 250 principles that are extracted from the 50 best speeches in the world, okay? And it will then look at your speech, analyze it, and go, yes, this piece can be used for this can be used for that, and I mean...
But it also uses all the principles of the top, you know, marketers in the world.
No, that's the copywriting tool.
Oh, okay.
That's the copywriting tool. Yeah. So the
I didn't see the copywriting tool. Oh, there it is.
Tool is right there. I need to make these a little bit better. I mean, this is I use this every day, basically every single day. I go, yeah, I need to create a LinkedIn post or a sales page or a landing page or an email or whatever. I drop my draft in here. I might put some notes and then I run the copywriter. And the copywriter takes it from there, goes it to the humanizer, writes it like humans, does it as a post formatter, and publishes it on LinkedIn.
And by the way, if all of this sounds really overwhelming,
it is.
Do not panic, because we show up every week, the two of us, one-on-one with you guys, to make sure that if you're having any issues, we do one
that's right up here. That's
acceleration. Right, we do one acceleration day a month, plus we do intensive to make sure that, you know, you have all the principles that you're working, and then, you know, office hours. So 3 times a month you have us live where we come and, you know, make sure that you're on track, that you're moving forward, that you're not in struggle, that you're getting what you need, that if anything that you don't know how to create will help you to get there to create. This is really amazing for people who pay for PR, for people who pay for marketing expertise, for people who pay to have a website built. There is no way on planet Earth, and I just know this because I've worked with so many very big, high-profile firms, that they lose the thread of their authenticity, of their through line, of who they are, of what their mission is, of what their manifesto is, in the written word, because other people are writing it. This is written in your language, in your vocabulary, with your experience, with your data points, and it sounds like you. And it's an amazing, amazing thing. And you can literally get rid of all of those other costs. So it is a game changer. It's very different than any AI that exists out there, because it is really geared just to
I'm
you.
getting such a kick out of this.
What?
Because and what Louisa is talking about, our live events, we built our own live event platform, okay? Like the one that you're on right now. You're not realizing it. This is a incredible thing that we do for our clients, where you can literally just jump on, join the live meeting, join all of these things. And this meeting is actually being hosted on one of our own tools, which is really cool, really cool. And I'm getting such a kick. I'm watching it on one of the other screens. It's going live automatically to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, our live embedded player. And it's being streamed to all of our clients who've asked to get it directly. So this is really cool. The one thing we haven't touched yet is our library.
Yeah, which I love this, because so Anrik and we're consumers of books. We have so many books that we can't live without. In fact, we each have our own copy, because I like to make notes one way. He likes to do something. No, I highlight, not scribble, just highlights.
She destroys books.
I do not.
Actually, no.
People love getting my books because they know the important parts are already highlighted and ready, and and it makes it a much easier read. But what Anrik has done is he's taken all of what we call the Magnum, book vault, all of the books that we really value, and we're always adding to it. So it's not like it's stopping anytime soon, because I can think of a couple that I've just read that I want to add. But and he does a collection. He kind of condenses it down to all of the salient points, all of the protocols, all of the blueprints, and then he does an overlay of all of our teachings, so that when you're in it, you can see these little fireballs, and you can click on it and say how it applies to the teachings that we do on a regular basis. And they're very overlapped, you know, Click for Insights. What it leverages, what we do, you know, different things. It references Right Fit Client. It references some of our frameworks. It's a game changer to really, you know, continue to learn and grow and increase, you know, your bandwidth, your ability to, you know, be more impactful, be more effective. We're huge fans of constant and never-ending improvement, and always reading and seeing what's out there and saying, hey, can we use this? What can we use in this? So the books that you'll find that are, you know, that we've done this with are the books that have been the most impactful in our lives. And we will continue to do that, and we'll continue to add them and then do our overlay with it. So you'll actually be able to see how this applies to the things that you've been learning inside the Magnum Vault Pass.
Well, I mean, I think we're pretty close to having to wrap this up. Let me see if there's something I haven't shown you here. Because
I think there's a lot, but
actually, even our magazines, the Capital Magazine, Capital Magnet, you can literally access directly from here. This is our, you know, content. You can go straight to any of the books that we've written. It is all absolutely in here, because every single tool that we have at our disposal, including our technology, our Nexus, all of these tools, everything is available right in here. Our LinkedIn DM messaging things, our
also
screen
our
recorders.
own books. And, you know, Onrex has written a couple of books. We wrote a book together. I'm in the process of writing a book that is really the basis of the Magnum Health, you know,
Just
area.
alone the LinkedIn tools in here are really quite amazing. So, but I do think that we are run out of time now.
So,
yeah, and we should leave it here for today, and invite people to come and take a look. What's the best way, do you think, to do that?
you guys can DM us on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You know, Laura Louise Blott, Onric Blott. And, you know, we're happy to set up a little, you know, tutorial to show you more about what this amazing thing is and what it can do for your business. And, you know, if it's right for you. So I think it really is a game changer for business. I think, you know, we always say, we used to say decades into days, but some of the things that I'm doing now, it's like months into minutes. Things that would take me months to prepare in the past, I'm doing in minutes now. It is so different. It is the new world. If, you know, I know how hard some people struggle with technology and learning, and you could learn all this stuff and not be able to code, not be able to program, not be able to create this stuff. We've created it for you. All you have to do is come and use it, and you have, you know, your AI, you know, sidekick entrepreneur working, you know, 24/7, never gets tired, never punches a clock, never asks, you know, for a paycheck. You don't need health insurance for it. And this is a tool that will change the game.
Well, we've gone in a very different direction. We haven't just applied a little bit of AI, you know, padding on the top of it. We've gone absolutely native AI, that we have put AI at the base of our zone of genius, at the base of our own brilliance, and said, how can we use AI to really serve our right fit clients, our MVPs, so that they also can ship their Magnum Opus, because we can only reach so many people at a given moment, and, you know, one at a time, two at a time, 10 at a time. This is our Magnum Opus that we've essentially built to help our MVPs ship their Magnum Opus. And I think that's probably the best way I can explain it. And you can literally DM us, talk to us, have a call with us. All of that is available. You can literally go to magnumvault.com/MVP. That's this page that you see up above me right now. And all the way at the bottom, there is a way that you can literally go in there and book a call with us. So absolutely amazing to hang out with you guys today. Thank you for letting us test our technology and hang out with us. Hopefully this is a good all-round update, and we can't wait to hear from you as we build this thing together. And I think that's us for now.
Well,
Over and
see
out.
you in the vault, guys.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.